I've got this selfie stick, and this is kind of a heavy duty thing. It's not really about the selfie stick. It's about like when you have these small parts, like this is a remote and it detaches, and frankly it's just stuck on here just barely and it comes off. What do you do with these small things that are easy to lose and come loose and the manufacturer didn't do a really good job? I've explored several different ideas. One of them is just putting a rubber band around it, but then it makes it hard to get off, and frankly the rubber band rolls away. I've already tried that. I thought about putting Velcro here and back here, but what happens is then it sticks way up and it comes off. Well, it's not too bad, but it's just kind of inconvenient. I've thought about some other things, trying to put some kind of a metal clip that you remove. And one of my ideas was to take one of these one of these magnets from an old hard disk like this, and glue it underneath there, and then use the fact that there's this metal battery. Can you see that? Yeah, metal battery inside here to hold it down, but the fact is there's just too much separation because of the plastic and it doesn't stick well. So right now my idea is to open up this remote control, and there's a space down here, maybe put some metal or another magnet in here and glue a magnet here, put a magnet in here, and I'll bet between the two of them it won't come off easily. Okay, so let's get in close and I'll go over that and we can see what's happening, and maybe my solution will work or not. We'll know in a minute. Here we can see a little bit better what's going on, and you can see it's just a friction hole down in here, and sometimes it just barely stays in there, other times it seems to be okay, but a slight bump and it just pops right out of there. And there's the back side of it, and it's just got the typical button battery cover on it like that. So yeah, the battery is in fact magnetic, and the only issue is that there's just so much plastic in there separating it that no matter how strong a magnet I get, it just won't quite stay. I have considered the Velcro thing, and yeah, it just makes it stand up about like that off of there. It's huge and bulky, and it's basically not even sitting down inside there. One issue is that I cannot drill this out because this is actually structural. Yeah, this looks very robust and it is tough, but this is just folded over plastic, and this is part of the support because you can see they had to take out a big chunk of it right here to let that thing sit down inside there. So I think the plan is to see if I can open up this thing, and I've got these small, you can see that, a very small magnet. Clip that off of there. I don't want to use a Dremel because heat destroys magnets, but clip that off of there and glue it inside of here, and then take something like this and affix it in here. Yes, it's going to cause it to stand up a little bit. I don't think I can avoid it. I have tried to remove these magnets from the metal in the past. You try using a Dremel, it heats up, it ruins the magnet. I've tried solvents, and the solvents, they just don't work. They don't do anything. I can't find the right solvent. I'm sure there's something really nasty out there that will work. But yeah, so that's where I am right now. I'm thinking about just cut the metal off down here. Let's see, get my fingers out of the way. Cut these tabs off here, just using snips, and then mount that in there. Should fit. So yeah, it'll stick up a bit, but I think I'm going to be a lot better off in the Velcro, and I'm guessing that there's plenty of space inside here, and between the two of them, they're going to stay together. The first step is to open the remote and see if I can actually get something inside there, because if not, well, then the whole game's over. So yeah, okay, it's not glued. That was my first fear. It's just kind of staked together with plastic stakes. Come on. Oh, okay. So yes, it looks like there's plenty of space. Am I still on? Yeah, you can still see that. Get that out of the way. So yes, we can snip that off, glue that in there. And yeah, I found even a smaller magnet to glue onto the tripod itself. And again, I need to snip some stuff off, but I think between the two of them, it's going to be a pretty vicious hold. Okay, so next step is cut the magnets down to size and get some epoxy and go to work. I had one of those rare moments of pure dumb luck where it turns out that the metal that the magnets are mounted to is extremely brittle, and you bend it back and forth a few times and the metal just breaks and gives you a nice clean piece like that. So that's going to go inside here, upside down like this, so that the magnets are as close as possible to the outside. And the other bit of dumb luck I had was that as I was trying to cut this piece loose right here, you can see the teeth marks on there, this warped ever so slightly and the glue gave way and left me with two very thin magnets, which bump when glued in here. Let me get a better... When glued right in here, will hardly raise the profile at all. And yeah, it'll be just about perfect. Okay, so let's get the epoxy and go to work on that. As is often the case when we're being creative, I have decided that I am going to, instead of putting this on the inside of the case where it's still not very strong, I'm going to cut into the case. Can you see my marks right there? And cut into the case and then mount this magnet inside there. And then the second magnet, this one, I will just glue to the tripod part of it. And the two will actually come in contact, the two magnets will actually come in contact, which will give me the, the strongest magnetic connection, of course. So that's what I'm going to go do. I'm either going to cut this out or scrape it out, depending on how much thickness I have to work with. But then I will epoxy that in place. I thought you might like a progress report. What I've done is I've dug a ditch in here with my Dremel, and you notice I drilled holes through there. That's because what I plan to do now is to lay this magnet in here like that and epoxy it. And I don't think this plastic is the type that epoxy prefers to stick to. So by drilling holes all the way through the case, the epoxy will go through there and act a little bit like a pop rivet and hold it. Okay, so now I will go and do the epoxy, and you can see what's happened underneath there before the epoxy got down there and made it all invisible. Okay, now I'm going to go do that. Here we have the magnet glued into place and the epoxy still tacky. What I did, I'm going to glue the other one down here, and how I'm going to align these is I drilled two holes. Actually, I started from this side and I drilled two holes here and here. Then I flipped this over and then I went through those two holes into the tripod leg. So now I can mount the other magnet right between those two holes. And let's see, they're kind of hard to see, but one of them is right there and the other is right there. And they have not weakened the tripod to any significant degree. And so again, I can just glue the second magnet right in there, and these two magnets will actually come into physical contact with each other, which will give me the strongest grip. Okay, so now it is time for me to go and glue that second magnet in place. And then once we reassemble it, that's pretty much it. There's not going to be any more lost Bluetooth remotes. We have our other magnet down in here on the tripod. I decided to indent this a little bit. The blue mark, you may be asking what the blue mark is for. That is to ensure that I didn't glue the magnet so that they were repelling each other. Yeah, that would be a bad thing. So we have this magnet in here, we have this magnet in here, and yeah, you can hear it clicks into place. So yeah, that's a good thing. Also, as a bonus, you can click the remote onto something else and have it stick there. So, okay, now let's reassemble the remote, put it in place, and I think that we're pretty much done at that point. There's the bottom half of our remote, and this just pushes back over. It's just a press fit. Just goes back on there like that. Let's add the battery. Should wipe it clean. Yeah, my shirt will work. Off camera, get your, you don't want any salts or whatever on there. Then we want to line this up and turn that in place. Yeah, there we go. Being a little bit stubborn. Okay, so that's it for the remote side, and it's sticking to my work surface. And let's put it back in place. Yeah, I don't think I need to tell you that those two magnets hold a lot better than just that friction fit. Okay, well that was it for one technique for not losing your Bluetooth remotes. Hope you found that useful and interesting in whatever you're using these Bluetooth remotes for.